Marifat School presents The Conference of the Plants. Written by Reza Nazemi. Chapter 17. Giving others the opportunity to practice and learn from mistakes.
In the previous chapter, Date Sprout asked Walnut Tree about growth, prompting Walnut to recall his own journey from a fragile seed. He remembered the struggle to break free from his shell, followed by a dream that renewed his strength and effort. Walnut shared a secret of growth. Receiving energy from the four elements is only part of the process. The other half is transforming that energy into growth. This transformation is crucial for development. Walnut explained that while the gardener provides the necessary energy, the sun supports the seed's growth, but only if the seed truly desires to grow from the depths of its heart. Now, we move on to the 17th chapter, giving each other the opportunity to practice and learn from mistakes.
Chapter 17. Giving others the opportunity to practice and learn from mistakes.
The garden was enveloped in freshness and beauty, with love and friendship flowing among flowers and plants. The sun shone generously, and a profound peace embraced every corner. Walnut Tree, observing this joy, felt a deep contentment in his heart. Gazing toward the sky, he said,
"O kind gardener and benevolent sun, you have blessed this garden with happiness and peace, and for that I am deeply grateful. It has taken years for this harmony to blossom, and now the garden thrives, filled with blessings and joy, thanks to your kindness and care. Yet I humbly seek a share of this serenity. For a long time, I have been a source of calm for other plants and trees, supporting them to the best of my ability, as guided by your will. However, I have not yet tasted this blessing myself. I cannot discern whether flaws in my efforts or mistakes in my journey have caused the lingering fatigue and confusion that cloud my destiny. Please grant me your help or guide me on how to find my own way. Through your mercy, illuminate a path that leads me out of this entanglement."
In the stillness of the night, as Walnut Tree was immersed in prayer and heartfelt supplication, faint sighs and wails suddenly reached his ears. Unable to easily locate the source of the sound, he focused intently until he realized the cries were coming from Raspberry Bush at the far end of the garden, sobbing quietly in a secluded corner. Without hesitation, Walnut Tree set aside his devotions and hurried to Raspberry's side. Gently, he asked,
"O sorrowful Raspberry, why are you moaning? What burden weighs upon your heart and has diminished your patience?"
Raspberry replied,
Today, the gardener came and cut away significant parts of me. Throughout my growth, I have faced countless challenges, barely managing to overcome them. I had so many leaves, yet the gardener removed them all without hesitation, as if they meant nothing. He showed no regard for the fact that those leaves were the result of years of my effort and perseverance. I cannot help but feel that the gardener lacks a sense of justice.
Raspberry continued to moan and complain. Walnut Tree, surprised by the story, looked down to examine the severed branches scattered around her. He noticed that all the cut branches were adorned with yellow and withered leaves. Understanding the gardener's purpose in pruning, he considered explaining it to Raspberry. However, he hesitated, worried that revealing the truth, that the leaves, once nurtured with boundless hope, had turned yellow and unproductive, incapable of bearing fruit, might deeply sadden and discourage her. Such a revelation could even cause her to lose hope and abandon her growth altogether. With this in mind, Walnut Tree paused, reflecting deeply on the wisdom behind the gardener's actions and how best to console and guide Raspberry without dimming her spirit. Then he said to Raspberry,
"Oh, Raspberry, why do you remain silent, holding back your concerns? In my view, you must speak up and express your objections. In situations like this, staying silent is not an option."
The shy Raspberry, who rarely voiced her complaints or objections, was startled by such an unexpected suggestion from the peace-loving Walnut. Walnut had always been an advocate for harmony and tranquility, urging everyone to pursue peace. She had assumed Walnut would offer to speak to the gardener himself and convince him to stop cutting more branches. Instead, his advice left her both surprised and uncertain. Raspberry approached Walnut Tree once again with an uncertain tone.
Are you really suggesting I speak up? Do you mean I should confront the gardener and openly express my concerns? Should I also voice my grievances to Buxus, who constantly causes me distress?
Walnut Tree, calm and resolute, replied,
Absolutely. Share your thoughts with them, just as you've shared them with me. I will stand by you every step of the way. Call on me whenever you need support.
Caught in a mix of confusion and fear, Raspberry asked,
Will you ask the gardener to spare my branches from further pruning?
Walnut Tree assured her with a gentle nod.
I will speak to the gardener, but only if you promise to act on the advice I've given you.
With a quiet nod of agreement, Raspberry settled for the night, her demeanor softened by a newfound peace. Walnut Tree, seeking solace in solitude, resumed his prayers. Yet, the sadness stirred by Raspberry's troubles lingered, making it difficult for him to bring himself to speak to the gardener about his own sorrow. A few days later, on a lively spring morning, the sharp cry of date seed shattered the peaceful slumber of every plant. Rushing to Walnut Tree, Date Seed exclaimed,
There are plants in this garden who speak carelessly, without thinking of the consequences. I find their behavior intolerable. Oh, Walnut! Why don't you teach them how to express themselves properly?
Clearly agitated, Date Seed couldn't hold back his objections and complaints. Walnut Tree, seemingly untroubled, let out a deep sigh and pondered.
It's a shame they lack an understanding of growth and fail to support one another on their journey of progress.
With a thoughtful gaze at the distressed Date Seed, Walnut Tree offered a gentle smile and asked,
What's troubling you so deeply? What has stirred such turmoil within you?
Date Seed, filled with rightful anger, exclaimed,
Have you seen how bold Raspberry has become? She told our dear Buxus that he's gone too far, speaking in a completely disrespectful tone. Her words were baseless and ignorant. She even criticized the grass so harshly that the grass now refuses to interact with her.
Walnut Tree, remaining calm, looked at Date Seed and asked,
And what exactly is wrong with those actions?
Frustrated by Walnut Tree's indifference, Date Seed snapped,
Even if she had a complaint, she could have expressed it with more respect. Her words are full of insults and sarcasm. She lacks basic manners in her speech.
Walnut Tree, seeing no choice but to speak the truth, gently replied,
Date Seed, calm yourself and I'll explain.
Date Seed winced and fell silent, both intrigued and bewildered. Walnut Tree continued,
I asked Raspberry to act this way, and that was for a reason. Raspberry is a timid plant, and her shyness has stunted her growth. Fear dominated her life, holding her back from producing abundant fruit. Many of her leaves turned yellow, and her growth nearly stopped. The gardener had to prune her branches more than usual. I urged her to face her fears and speak up, hoping it would encourage her branches to grow stronger and bear fruit. In the past, Raspberry would hide away in a secluded corner of the garden, clinging to the fences for a sense of security. But now she started to interact with others. She hasn't yet mastered the art of effective communication, but she's on the right path. Have you noticed the change in her lately?
Dateseed recognized the truth and recalled the struggles of her own growth. She remarked thoughtfully,
For Raspberry, it's essential to speak up in order to overcome her fear. Whether her words are right or wrong matters less. What truly matters is her courage to face the fear within herself. How fascinating! With this new understanding, all her seemingly pointless and foolish words now appear meaningful and valuable to me, as they are the very steps that will lead her toward growth.
with a sense of embarrassment, Dateseed turned to Walnut Tree and said,
Oh, wise walnut, I see now that I was wrong. I had no idea that beneath those seemingly futile words lay such profound value and purpose. I acknowledge my mistaken judgment.
Walnut Tree responded kindly, saying,
Oh dear Dateseed, this incident carries a lesson far more important and valuable for you. One that can guide you on your journey ahead. While the event itself may seem insignificant, the wisdom behind it is immensely valuable.
Dateseed nodded, saying,
I'm all ears, ready to absorb and eager to learn.
Walnut Tree continued,
Not long ago, you were deeply unsettled by Raspberry's mistakes. Her words disturbed you to the point of intolerance. But did you realize that this inner turmoil had the potential to stunt your own growth?
Dateseed replied promptly,
Yes, I can see that now. But I had no understanding of the real situation at the time. Had I known, I would never have complained.
With his everlasting smile, Walnut continued,
I have no doubt that you didn't know the truth of the matter, and that's why you were upset. However, the important question here is whether you should be distressed and troubled by everything you don't know the reason for. Many things may appear illogical or unreasonable to you, but each is rooted in reasoning and logic you have yet to understand. Do you wish to carry the burden of suffering for all of them? Is it your choice to feel pain over every matter you're ignorant about? If you think this way, let me remind you that this path leads to constant discomfort, as there is far more that you do not know than what you do. Your ignorance is vast, and the unknowns in life are abundant.
Dateseed inquired,
So, are you saying that my ignorance is the root cause of my suffering? With so much ignorance, how can I free myself from the chains of pain and torment?
Acknowledge that you possess immense ignorance. Understand that your pride tries to deny this truth. It's not your ignorance that causes your suffering. Rather, it's your pride that, despite having so much ignorance, still believes it knows. If you become aware of your lack of knowledge, the torment resulting from your ignorance and pride will gradually dissipate.
thoroughly embarrassed by her behavior. Dateseed fell silent and immersed herself in deep contemplation. Observing these events, Almond sapling turned to walnut tree and said,
"Oh, wise tree, when you encouraged raspberry to speak, why didn't you also guide her to express herself in a kind and pleasant manner? If her words were gentle and considerate, the other plants wouldn't feel so distressed."
Walnut responded,
The root cause of Raspberry's fear and shyness was her desire to speak beautifully and impressively. This longing to speak impressively, driven by a subtle form of pride, burdened her with anxiety about how to appear better than others. Overthinking how to appear perfect pushed her into silence and isolation. Though her mind was full of thoughts, she lacked the courage to voice even a single one. To help her, I eased the burden of needing to be a sweet-tongued raspberry and encouraged her to speak freely without worrying about perfection or accuracy. With practice and repetition, her fear of speaking will gradually fade. Only then, with patience and care, can she learn the art of speaking thoughtfully and pleasantly without causing distress. In any endeavor, the first step is to gain the courage to act. At the beginning, concerns about perfection or precision should not hold you back. Once the fear of action is overcome through repeated effort, the focus can then shift to refining and improving the quality of the work. The lesson is simple. First, find the courage to act, and only then turn your attention to excellence.
Almond, once again captivated by Walnut's wisdom, asked,
"What if the other plants in the garden can no longer tolerate Raspberry's harsh words?"
Walnut replied with a calm smile,
A garden that does not allow its young saplings to make mistakes and grow through their errors will ultimately become barren. Over time, such a community loses its vitality and falls into ruin. However, if wisdom prevails and harmony is nurtured between the old and the young, the garden will always remain vibrant and full of life.
Though intrigued, Almond couldn't fully grasp the depth of Walnut's words. Falling silent, he reflected to himself,
"I hope that one day I will truly understand the wisdom behind Walnut's teachings."
As night arrived, all the plants went to sleep. Wearied by a day of bustling conversations, Walnut nestled into the comforting arms of sleep. Suddenly, an unexpected voice emerged from within, proclaiming, "This torment isn't the consequence of your errors. It's the product of your choices." Opening his eyes, Walnut found nothing around. There was no gardener in sight. The night had fallen into deep darkness, and the sun was absent from its duties. Silence hung thick in the air, with no plant uttering a word. Only an empty, quiet space surrounded him. Perplexed, Walnut wondered,
Who is the source of this voice? Could it be that the emptiness itself is speaking to me?
Despite his efforts, he couldn't determine who had spoken. As he reflected on the message that had come from the void, Walnut realized it was a response to his invocation the previous night. A surge of joy filled him, and he eagerly sought to engage further with the unseen voice, but no reply came. Grateful for the interaction, Walnut pondered the sense of inner unrest that still lingered within him and considered how it connected to the profound message he had received.